Welcome to Steelers Live, everybody. I'm Missi Matthews. Let's get right to it and take a look at Thursday's practice report for the Steelers. Some good news, some bad news. We'll start with the good news. James Conner, who is in the concussion protocol, has been a full participant on Wednesday and today on Thursday. The bad news, Marcus Gilbert and Stephon Tuitt have not practiced at all this week. Ramon Foster getting his usual coach's day off on Thursday, and Ben Roethlisberger, who had a vet's day on Wednesday, was back at it again on Thursday. Joining me now to talk about the practice report and much more is Bob Labriola. And I think good news for James Conner. Hopefully, tomorrow seals the deal when the status report comes on. But I'm nervous that I don't think Stephon Tuitt is going to be there on Sunday in Jacksonville.
Right, and it doesn't look that way. And, the opponent this particular week, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are a big-time physical, running the football kind of offense. Leonard Fournette, their bell cow running back, just returned from several games missed because of injury. Last week was his first game back, so I would assume that he would be a little bit more, up to speed and feeling good this week. And when you look at how the games unfolded last season, the two games against Jacksonville, stopping the run was a critical element in the Steelers losing both of those games. So the Stephon Tuitt loss, I think, would be a big one. And it's funny, we were talking before we went on the air about Marcus Gilbert. Again, he didn't practice today, but the way Matt Filer has been playing, not that, we're writing off Marcus Gilbert or saying he doesn't matter anymore, but it just doesn't seem to be that critical of an issue based on the way this guy right here has been playing.
Yeah, it is coordinator Thursday Labs, and Randy Fichtner was asked about the fact this would be the fourth start in a row, fifth overall for Matt Filer filling in for Marcus Gilbert. Is it really a concern anymore? And Randy said, no, look how great he's done. We feel comfortable with where he is. Of course, they want Marcus back, but he has been doing an outstanding job. And we have had a chance to hear from both coordinators today, so we'll get to those. But today, Randy Fichtner also talking about the fact in that playoff loss to Jacksonville at Heinz Field last year, the Steelers were able to put up 42 points on them, so they can talk about that heading into this matchup, opposed to the regular season loss.
Yeah, there's no doubt there's respect. They understand what's in front of them, the challenge that's in front of them, and they're excited about that challenge. I think the experience of having played them before, with the idea that there's some understanding, and that the fact that we didn't play our best football. When you spot them 21 points in two games, you're going to be a hard time winning, and we didn't. And I think, if you ask any one of them, the win and the loss, if it was 3-0, would be a lot better feeling than scoring a lot of points and not winning the game.
And one thing the players have said this week, Ben Roethlisberger yesterday, they still respect this defense. Maybe they're not having the type of production we saw in 2017 Labs, but Ben said they're still the best defense they've faced so far this season.
Yeah, Jacksonville, that's one of the issues that you can take advantage of in the NFL if you are consistently drafting high in the first round. When you look at those great defensive players throughout the NFL, those guys were always drafted top 10, top 15, and Jacksonville had some opportunities, to make some of those picks, and they hit on them. Jalen Ramsey being, a prime example of that. And then the other thing Jacksonville did in assembling this defense was they had a quarterback who was not making a lot of money. And so when you have a quarterback like that who's not making a lot of money, you have some room under your salary cap. And Jacksonville went out and spent some big money judiciously on some big-time defensive players as unrestricted free agents, Calais Campbell being the first one that comes to mind. And this guy is a dynamic defensive lineman. And, those are the kinds of players that if you don't have an opportunity to draft them as they're coming into the league, you usually don't get much of an opportunity to sign them as unrestricted free agents, or they're too expensive. But all the stars kind of aligned for Jacksonville in building this defense, and it is a formidable unit. And as Randy Fichtner intimated there in that soundbite, it's a unit that does not need any help with turnovers.
All right. As we all know, this game is 1 o'clock on Sunday in Jacksonville. It was supposed to be Sunday night. Labs is happy. I'm happy. I think a lot of people are happy. But just after our live show on Wednesday, the NFL announced 2 time changes for the Steelers in Week 13 and 14. And Labs, I know you're not happy about the first one, so I'll just let you explain what happened here.
Well, I mean, the NFL, they notified us, the Pittsburgh Steelers, of games that they said would not be flexed. Among them was the New Orleans game, the Patriots game, and the Chargers game. And so, you know, the Steelers had been notifying fans who were asking about this, telling them that the game would not be flexed. And then at the last minute, or close to the last minute, they decided to flex the game. And when people ask why, I always say that whenever the question is why, the answer is money. And so the network wanted a better game for their prime nighttime slot. The networks pay a lot of rights fees, dollars, to the NFL, and so the networks get what they want. And this really, in my mind, it shafts Steelers fans who maybe had made plans to come into town for this game. It's also alumni weekend for the Steelers. A lot of the Steelers players who are coming in for the weekend, Joe Green, we're planning on being able to get home for something that they have to do early on Monday back where they live. And now that's kind of messed up as well. The other thing is, one of the kind of advantages the Steelers had in this situation was forcing a West Coast team to play on East Coast time. But now that has been neutralized, and so it neutralizes one of the advantages the Steelers would have had in this game, a game that I believe is going to help determine playoff seeding in the AFC. So the NFL's decision to go back on what it originally said and flex the game really kind of hurts Steelers fans and the team a little bit.
But that game that was supposed to be Sunday night in Oakland is now a 4:25 game, so we will not be landing at 6 a.m. here in Pittsburgh. So some good and some bad for Labs. We'll make sure he gets his sleep.
You're
so
on that
he's
plane
not cranky.
too.
I know. All right, Labs, thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we have your SNU keyword coming your way, and also Tunch Ilkin with your Sirius XM scouting report.
I think good defenses are on the sidelines watching their offense run the football. And what I mean by that is time of possession. Our offense has done a great job of time of possession and controlling the ball and coming back on, we deferred, and by deferring we took the second half kickoff, and our offense comes in and again goes all the way downfield and scores and gets up on the guys that we were playing. And that's, to me, is monumental in terms of how we played. We played better, obviously, okay, we played better, but also we hadn't been on the field as much.
All right, that is defensive coordinator Keith Butler. Now we need to turn our attention to Jacksonville and what we need to know for Sunday at 1 p.m. Joining me now is Tunch Ilkin with your Sirius XM scouting report.
You know, Missi, you heard Keith Butler talking about the fact that our offense has done a great job of controlling the clock, controlling the ball. Last year, the 2 times we played the Jacksonville Jaguars, they did just that. They ran the ball very effectively with Leonard Fournette and that terrific offensive line. But that terrific offensive line is not terrific anymore. As a matter of fact, they're down to their 3rd offensive tackle, Josh Walker, and he's dinged up. Cam Robinson, their starter, who was a rookie last year from Alabama, is going to be a great player. He got hurt. And then in comes Josh Wells. He gets hurt. And now you've got your number 2 center, Tyler Shatley. He's the backup to Brandon Lindor, who got hurt last week against the Indianapolis Colts. Probably right now the best offensive lineman on their team is the right tackle, Jeremy Purnell. He is a mauler. A.J. Kahn, the right guard. Those guys are maulers. But the left side, I think you can take advantage if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at their running game, and it's pretty basic. You know, they run the inside zone, they run the outside zone. TJ Yeldon has been the leading rusher and the leading receiver because Leonard Fournette has been hurt all season long with a bad hamstring. Leonard was back last week versus the Indianapolis Colts, and he ran with the same kind of vim and vigor that we're used to, but he's not timed up with his offensive line, so that's going to take a little while to generate. You look at Blake Bortles, man, he is their second leading rusher with 269 rushing yards. One of the things that we've seen a little bit more of Leonard Fournette this year is a little more of that zone option read, and he is not afraid to pull it down and run with the ball. They're still going to try to get Leonard Fournette in the game early and often, so you've got to manage your gaps. But I think the Steelers are in a great position the way they've been playing the run to shut down this offense. None of the receivers really scary, especially when you look at the fact that their leading receiver is TJ Yeldon with 42 catches and 397 yards. Stop Leonard Fournette, and you're going to stop these guys. Get them behind the chains and make Blake Bortles beat you. On the other side of the ball, defensively, they're not the same defense either. You know, they got rid of Dante Fowler, and they're looking for that right combination of four defensive guys. When you watch them, Calais Campbell, who Bob Labriola was talking about, he was their starting left defensive end, but they have moved him all around. He's played inside. He's played all four of their positions. So has Malik Jackson. Normally, Malik Jackson plays on the inside, 97. He's a three-technique defensive tackle, does a great job of jetting upfield between the guard and the offensive tackle, but they've been playing him outside somewhat. The one guy that's been in the same position that he was last year is Yannick Ngakoue. He leads them with 5 sacks. He does a great job of getting upfield. He's very athletic. Avery Jones, not too bad, plays the run really well. You just saw him there. But this is not the same defense as we saw last year. When you watch them in coverages, you've noticed a lot of busts. Last week versus the Indianapolis Colts, you saw a lot of completions, a couple for touchdowns. Nobody's in the same zip code as the tight end. And at the end of the play, you can see these defensive backs throwing their hands up in the air going, I thought you had him, I got him. And you know, these guys are really good in man coverage. When they play zone, that's when they're not nearly as good. Now, of course, Jalen Ramsey is a great corner when he's playing press man. So is A.J. Bouye when he's playing press man. Barry Church, one of the safeties, he's a thumper. He does a great job coming into the box. When you go regular people or you go ace, 2 tight ends, they're going to crowd the box. They're going to put 8 guys in the box. Telvin Smith is tremendous. He is very, very athletic. Their inside backer. He's sideline to sideline. So is Miles Jack. Very, very athletic. I think the loss of Paul Posluszny has created some, communication errors in that defense because Puz was a stabilizer, and he did a great job of making sure everybody was where they're supposed to be. I'm not sure they have that guy this year, and that's why I don't think they're playing as well defensively as we saw last year.
All right, Tunch, thanks so much for joining us with the SiriusXM Scouting Report for our Steelers Nation Unite members. A few reminders for you today. First, we'll get to your keyword. That is kick, so you can head to SteelersNationUnite.com. Enter the keyword kick to earn some extra yards for joining us here on Steelers Live today. And also, we hope to see you down in sunny Florida in Jacksonville on Saturday prior to Sunday's 1 p.m. kick for our Road Warriors block party for Steelers Nation Unite. Doors open at 3 p.m. at the River City Brewing. Hope we can see you there. We're going to have tons of people on hand, former players, including Tunch Ilkin, Merrill Hodge, Santonio Holmes, and Rocky Blyer in our live show. In case you can't be there, we hope you can, though. That'll be kicking off at 7 p.m. Again, doors open at 3, so we hope to see you in Jacksonville. That's going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m.